Babe, don't make a sound. 2 a.m. love, gotta keep it down.
God, I probably look a mess. But it's like 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I've just been, we just have not slept well all night yet. Just super anxious with the new lockdown and everything. Just feeling shite. So, I'm doing all the evidence-based says, and you should just get up if you can't sleep. So I've got my book, got a hot water bottle, getting ready. I'm just gonna read till I pass out. Yay. Swear to God, the true mission is trying to get your steps in without decking it on this ice. It's fucking impossible. Even the grass is frozen. And we're back with another vlog. Does anyone else feel like it's Sunday today, Sunday the 10th of January. Does anyone else feel like we're about 200 years into the new year, or 200 weeks, should I say? What the fuck has this week been? Holy fuck. As I was uploading this vlog last week, national lockdown was announced, and then a few days later, all that mad shit was going on in the States. Safe to say it's been a pretty momentous start to the new year. I hope no one feels deflated or too deflated from everything that's been going on, although I have had a bit of I suppose a rant is the best way to put it, over the last few days, just around Instagram influencers more so, people in the fitness community particularly. I mean, the one I'm involved in, which is sort of more bodybuilding, their reactions to just lockdown and everything. And I don't know, it's fucking done my head in. But anyway, I'll get to that a bit later. I don't want to start the vlog with like a total Debbie Downer. Again, just not managed to film that much this week. Getting more into the swing of things, adapting, I suppose, to the news from Monday, which is not easy. I was really low. I was really, really low. I had intended to train on Tuesday, but I just couldn't bring myself to it, and my sleep this week has been absolutely horrendous. It has been so shit. I mean, I look exhausted. I feel exhausted. Like, fucking look at me. This is shocking. It's like 5 p.m. 6 p.m. maybe bedtime. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's I've just been exhausted. I've been managing okay, but the COVID stress and anxiety is definitely back in the back of my mind, just around everything really. Going back to work tomorrow, or on the day that this vlog goes live. More on that in next week's vlog, just because right now I don't really know what the fuck's the crack. But anyway, so it's been a mixed bag again. Not the best, not the worst, just sort of just another fucking week. Not the hype that one would expect from the first Monday of the year. Let's get it in. Yeah, no, that's not happened. Which again just brings me on to that topic of toxic positivity. So basically, I'll give you the background. On Friday, I did all of my client check-ins, or the majority of my client check-ins, should I say. Usually I do the bulk of these on a Saturday, but I was busy yesterday. So I did the bulk of my client check-ins, which was about 20 or so check-ins in a day. And I swear to God, I think like maybe out of 20 check-ins, 2 people did not mention finding this week extremely hard. Everybody else had really, really fucking struggled. And it's normal to struggle, of course. Beginning of the year, there's so much hype around it. It's that post-Christmas come down. Normally we have the gyms accessible to us. It's almost like life resumes. But this year, we're being hit with a lockdown. And it wasn't the struggle that necessarily concerned me. To an extent, I expected people to be finding it hard. I think a lot of us have been finding it hard this week. What really upset me and what really pissed me off was the fact that a lot of people were feeling quite distressed, like they were struggling, but they felt like they weren't allowed to. They felt like they had to almost bury their feelings under, this notion that like, oh, I should be feeling better, I should be more positive, I should be, more grateful because other people have it better than me, worse than me, sorry. Just putting a lot of pressure on themselves to be happy. When contextually, actually, their emotions made a lot of sense. And again, a lot of people just totally criticizing how the week had gone for them, reflecting and saying that, motivation had been rock bottom, but they just felt like everything hadn't been on point, but they had still, checked in, they'd completed data for every single day of the week, they'd been tracking their food, they'd been doing their best with sleep, they've been doing their best with their workouts. So again, just, devaluing is the word I'm looking for, devaluing the work that they've actually done during the week, because, and just from what people had been saying to me, their frame of reference was people on fucking Instagram just telling them to suck it the fuck up and to just crack on with it. And it just got to that point where I was like, checking number 10, and I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? And it really, really annoyed me, because I'm just, honestly, and this is not to bash on anybody specific, but I'm just so sick of people on Instagram, especially people who've got like hundreds and thousands of followers or like thousands of followers, putting out a message of like, come on guys, we've got this, but in such a way that it invalidates people's feelings. Telling someone to just be grateful for what they have is not very fucking helpful when your frame of reference is completely different, and when you're not actually including someone else's potential frame of reference or like their experience, and you're not accommodating for that, and you're not thinking about how your response might be received. And I know that you obviously cannot think and consider everybody, especially when you've got that many fucking followers, but for fuck's sake, man, just thinking a bit more about how our messages are being perceived. I mean, again, it's such a hard one, because with social media, you do want to put yourself out there, you want to showcase your attitude, and if you do have influence over a lot of people, you want to use that influence to keep them positive, to keep the momentum going. And I totally get it, but sometimes it just comes across as just toxic positivity, as I alluded to in my Instagram story, and it just, oh man, it's just not fucking helpful. And again, it's not to say that people should, or my clients or anybody really should, allow themselves to really like spiral through those thoughts and not nip them in the bud, and not what am I trying to say? God, I'm really struggling to find my words today. It's not to say that people should just allow themselves to just go downhill and be aware of it and just still let themselves slide. No, you really need to address your emotions. It's so important to understand where they're coming from. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? And pinpoint it specifically. But equally, and like I always say, inviting, in my case, negative Nancy in for a coffee, or, I was saying to a few clients, that Debbie Down is always welcome to Clara's Cafe for a drink whenever they need it. Because you need to acknowledge those emotions. You need to acknowledge how you feel. And yes, once you've done that, you can then start to process and go through, through steps of whether that is gratitude, or whether that's a degree of reframing, or like looking at it from a different perspective, 100%, because that is still important. And that is an evidence-based technique to support you when you are struggling, when you are stressed, when you are anxious, when things are difficult. But you can't go straight to bullying yourself for not being grateful without processing that emotion that you are feeling, and invalidating your emotions off the back of what some fucking silly goose has said on Instagram. is just doing yourself a disservice. So like I said, and like I've said so many times, if anybody, including myself, if anybody is making you feel shit, why are you still consuming their content? I mean, you're basically creating pain and distress for yourself. Why? When you have a choice to follow somebody, why continue to make that choice when you could just unfollow them? And some of us just like engaging in that level of self-deprecation through comparison or whatever it might be. But for God's sake, it's not useful. It's really not useful. And in the long term, and whatever it is, like in order to build your own, resilience, guard your own tools to help you cope through these moments, I mean, that's just the last fucking thing you need. So honestly, take my advice on it. And like I said, even if it's me that you choose to unfollow off the back of listening to this, God, if someone's making you feel like shit, fucking get them off your feed. Just stop it. Don't do that to yourself. You just don't deserve that. So yes, that's just that part of this vlog done and dusted. I just thought I would elaborate on it a little bit more, because it resonated with so many people, way more than I thought it would actually. You never know when you go off on Instagram, like what people's reactions are going to be, if any at all, if people bother to look through all the fucking stories you put up. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, which is a completely different topic, is I just want to talk a bit more about routine. So I was just speaking to a couple of close people that I tend to just bounce off ideas for content, again, because I want to make sure that these videos are valuable to you if you do choose to watch them. And last week I spoke a little bit about time management. But I've had a few people ask me to elaborate a bit more on like how do you come up with a routine, like how do you build a routine that's useful for you, how do you find that that balance or that rhythm again, especially after the Christmas period, after the re-lockdown news. Maybe you thought you were going back to work, but actually you're going back to working from home, or you're being furloughed again. So I've got some on a trusty post-it note, just some tips, if I can hold it in my hands and place it on the table, just some tips that I tend to use when I am trying to structure my days. So the first thing, when you are trying to come up with a routine, the first thing you want to think about is what if anything in the day needs to happen at a certain time. So for most people, this will be their working hours. So if you know that you are going to be working from 9 to 5, and that within that time bracket, you've got the likes of an hour for your lunch break, you know that it's the before and the after that really is within your control, and that is within your ability to manage, especially when you are trying to build a routine. And the second thing you want to think about is, in and around that time or in your day, what are the non-negotiable things that need to happen that day? So need to happen can sound like quite a strong word, but this is just around your things that are important to you. So in here you can schedule in things such as time with your partner or kids, if you have one, or if you have kids or a family or whatever it might be. Here you can include things such as going for a walk or steps or your physical activity. You can include your workout, you can include your cardio, you can include your meditation, you can include your reading, you can include time for cooking and the likes of that. So you want to think about what else happens every single day that you want to make time and space for. And once you've got those written down, it's really important to think about almost like a pre-mortem and a post-mortem, right? So in a way, as a pre-mortem, you want to think, right, well, if it came to the end of next week and I was to look back and realize that I really hadn't stuck to my routine, or that I really hadn't accomplished everything that I wanted to, why would that be? Or even at the end of the day, okay, imagine I'm going back to bed Monday evening and it turns out I've not had the time to fit in a workout. Why is that? What happened? And working your way backwards, so you can almost find your blind spots before they even emerge by doing a pre-mortem, but equally the post-mortem. Again, sorry to be using such gruesome terms, I suppose, speak about death and whatever, but just thinking about what went well, what didn't go well, what could have gone better, where can I make changes that would actually be really helpful. For example, one of the benefits of working from home is that it is likely, if depending on the job that you have, but it is likely for most people that their work is a bit more flexible around what times they need to be online and what times they don't need to be online. So for example, if you know that you tend to procrastinate most between the likes of 2 and 3 p.m, I know I do, or that's when I really just want to go for a nap, then but I'm way more alert in the morning. So it makes so much more sense for me in that case to schedule in my daily work, my daily walk, my steps on whatever it might be, or my podcast listening into that time bracket where I'm literally going to be super unproductive if I'm trying to stand or sit in front of my computer or just do anything else that requires any amount of brain power. So in that sense, it makes way more sense for me to do my steps at that point, or instead of first thing in the morning, which is when I would organically prefer to do my steps. But actually, in terms of time management and in terms of routine and in terms of a routine and structure that's supportive of my goals, that just doesn't make much sense. So think about how to schedule it in that way. And there's other things that you can do to support your routine. I know it sounds a bit weird, but if you are going to be working from home, there's nothing stopping you from meal prepping your food. You don't have to eat it out of a Tupperware. You can put it in a plate, obviously. But the amount of time you will save in cooking during the day, if you do have your meals already prepped, or a few meals, for example, your lunch, if you get the likes of a half an hour, 1 hour break from work, having that prepped can make a huge difference. Equally, knowing exactly what you're going to be eating across the day and across the week, and having that maybe pre-planned into MyFitnessPal, so you don't have to spend too much time thinking about those things or making decisions around those things. That can be a huge time saver. So those are my personal kind of tips. So always think about what's a non-negotiable, what cannot change, what do you need to work around, and then with the time that you have free, make a list of the things that you would like to schedule in. What's realistic? What do you have to do every single day? What can you do on one day yes, one day no? And then reflect on what could go wrong. If something were to go wrong, what would go wrong? Where would you have a blind spot? Where would you slip up potentially in adhering to your routine, which is again just a very loose term. And work your way around it. Think, okay, well, if I know that the later I leave my home workout, the harder I find it to motivate myself to do it, then I know that I just need to get it over and done with first thing in the morning, because then I can't procrastinate it, I can't put it off, and I can't just tell myself I'll do it the day after, because that's not going to make it, it's not going to tick that box, is it? We've all been there. I know that's very, very true of me. If I don't do my home workout first thing, I'm fucked. There's no chance. I find it so much harder. I just find it way more grueling, more painful, just it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, that's just kind of my advice there. And yeah, that's pretty much it from the week. I don't know what else I've maybe not mentioned throughout the other snippets, but after checking in, the video obviously was now taken on a Sunday, but after checking in on Monday, my calories got put up, which I wasn't expecting. But the reasoning was that I'd been eating way more than was planned, just with New Year's Eve and whatnot, and just having more snacks in the house. And my weight wasn't really moving up that much, so more food was warranted on plan, and in fact my body weight has kind of gone down again this week, so we'll just see what the big man says. And yeah, other than that, I've got a big week coming up. I've been sleeping like shit. I've been really anxious about it, to be honest. So I'm not going to try and inundate you with my toxic positivity. But whatever you do, just try and listen to your emotions, label them, think about what it is that you're feeling. I put up an article on our VW Physique website on, when was it? Was it Thursday? It was Thursday. Just on some things that can help you manage your stress. And one of them was a bit more around journaling, which is something I've been doing, especially to manage my feelings, understand my feelings a bit more, and to help me move through that tunnel of gloom. I've also had to be a bit more strict, not a bit more, much more strict this week in terms of my social media use. I've made the mistake a few times of going to bed and just reading Twitter and or overindulging in just bad news. It's just no fucking good for me. So the worry time technique, which I spoke about at the beginning of the pandemic, way back in March last year, is something I've had to put back into place. But hey, we all have our own ways of managing these things, and these are just some of the tools and techniques that I use. You might find them useful. If you do, if you try anything, if you try what I've just discussed in terms of routine, if you try anything from the article I wrote, if you read it, or the worry time technique, you can go back and watch those videos. They're under the education playlist. Yeah, if you try them and if you find them useful, please do let me know, because I'd love to hear from you. A very vlogger comment right there, by the way. Call myself out on that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave this vlog here. I'm gonna edit it, upload it, and whatnot. It's Monday tomorrow. So I hope you enjoy this whenever you get to watch it. If you do choose to watch it, thank you so much. As always, it's much appreciated. And if you could give it a like on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever, again, that's always super appreciated. But yeah, I'll catch everybody in next week's vlog. Thank you for watching. Bye.